Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. You should check out my website, welshaudio.com. Everything ships for free. The prices that you see is the prices that you'll pay at checkout. Enjoy the video. All right, guys, welcome back for another one. Our video this week is going to be different. We're not going to drop a amp dyno this week like normal. I want to talk about something that happened recently and just bothers me a little bit. I would like y'all's input. You know, this video isn't the intention of trying to, you know, cause anybody to have more business or less business or hard feelings or anything like that, honestly. It's just that anytime you experience something that's like what I would consider bad customer service, it's a little bit surprising these days. It's always surprising, but I'm an older guy, guys. And so as the world goes on and things change, I guess I'm just used to the way I was raised and the way that I handle things myself. We'll talk about some of that too towards the end of the video probably, but I don't know. I think that just happens throughout the generations. You know, you expect people to do things the way that you would do them, or the way that you were raised, or you saw things happen decades ago. It was just kind of the norm that was set. And, you know, but what's interesting is customer service oftentimes goes away pretty quickly when you're talking about a significant amount of money. But here's the story. So I was trying to decide what to get my son for Christmas. This is back in November, right? So we're talking about doing the, you know, he wanted to upgrade from 215s to 415s and 2 amps. That's actually been in the works for a couple of years as far as him wanting to do it. But we decided we wanted to do that build this winter. And so November rolls around and I'm trying to decide what I'm going to get him for Christmas. And it was going to be, you know, money towards an amp or a sub or some lithium. I'm not real sure, but one of those things, wire, something that he's going to need for that build as a way to help him out as well, because he's fixing to spend several $1,000s doing that. So this deal right here, I'll bring this in a little bit closer here in a minute, popped up for Black Friday, which I instantly recognized as, holy cow, that's a great deal. And the truth is, I reached out to Down for Sound because I went to Down for Sound's website to see if they were offering these subs for that price, and they weren't. They were like regular price at Down for Sound. So I sent them a message. I didn't know if I'd hear anything back, but I did get a reply, and I can't remember the guy's name. I could go back and look. It's got his name on it. It was not Jonathan Price. And he said, yeah, we're not going to be able to run a sale on those. I can't remember if he said they were out of them or they were very low stock, but it was one of the two. They didn't have a bunch of them. And so they were not going to be running a sale. So this is what I ended up going with. I've never done business with GP Car Audio before, but I've seen their ads several times, and I was always impressed with the kind of stuff they carry, because they carry the big boy stuff. The big, nice subs, big amps, high output alternators, excess power batteries, good wire, big OFC wire. They carry the, you know, what I would say the competition type stuff. So I always thought that was pretty cool that there was another one of those companies that carried that type of stuff. So, but I'd never bought anything from them. And so this was such a great deal. Let me bring this in right here. Y'all forgive me. This, I'm showing my old school here a little bit by printing this off on my printer. But this is still on their Facebook page, by the way. But 2 X15s. Now they notice they don't have XV3, XV2, whatever. I think that was to keep things simple more than anything, because the Z's, and they were all listed that way, just very simply. I don't think it had anything to do with them knowing what you're going to receive. We're going to get to that in a minute. But anyhow, I was like, man, that's a good price for the subs already. and you get the free base meter. Now, the funny thing is, we've already got 2 of these base meters. Sure, was it cool to get a third one? Because that's 160, somewhere in the neighborhood of like 160 or 170. I've already bought 2 of these at full price. But sure, it's free. Yeah, we'll take it, because really, we want the subs, but something free thrown in there is pretty cool too. But we're not talking about a couple $100 here, guys. We're talking about $1,200. These are $600 subwoofers on this sale. They're normally more than that. But so ordered them on Black Friday. To my surprise, the first one showed up on Monday. I couldn't believe it. The return label looked like it come out of Missouri. I don't know. I think that's where GP's out of. I don't know that these things are actually shipping out of Missouri. They may come from Sundown or wherever. I'm not real sure. But the fact that that thing showed up on Monday was shocking. The box was pretty beat up. I'll show you that in a minute. But I didn't think there was going to be anything wrong with the sub. But these subs weigh 65 pounds a piece. And I don't know. But I waited a couple days because I thought, gosh, that's weird that one of them showed up and the other one didn't. And I haven't seen the base knob, or I mean, not the base knob, the base meter either. But I was like, all right, you know, it's holiday season. Let's give it a day. So Wednesday rolls around. The other sub had still not shown up. So I sent an email to GP Car Audio, and I got a reply from Tyler. And the way I understand it, Tyler is one of the owners of the company. And he said, yeah, we had this one. We had one in stock, but the second one's going to have to come from a different location. It was just some very general reply like that. And then he said, in the base meter, the owner of that company went on vacation or something like that. So, but he, assured me I would get them and whatever. So that's fine. As long as they show up before Christmas, I'm cool with that. But it did take that second one another 2 weeks after the first one showed up. It was actually a little over 2 weeks. It was more like 2.5. It was like 2 weeks and 3 days or something like that. So it was quite a bit later. Started to worry a little bit about where my second sub and meter was. And so anyhow, it finally showed up, and I didn't open either one of them. My son knew what he was getting. And to be honest, he and I worked out a deal on this as well. He paid some towards this, and I said, look, you can have it all. I've already got 2 meters. I don't need the meter, but I'm basically going to buy you a sub. We split it in half is what it was, and he paid half and I paid half, and I bought him a sub for Christmas, and he got a great deal on a sub and a free base meter. So he knew what he was getting for Christmas. So when they come in, I sent him the picture and I said, hey, here's your subs. They're in 2 different boxes. The boxes don't look the same. And I said, I sure hope that I went back and looked at our text last night, and they're still there, and this is exactly what they say. But I sure hope that doesn't mean that there's anything different at all about the sub. And he's like, yeah, I hope not too. Because my son has a very nice build. We're pretty particular about how we do things. We want things to look nice and correct. And anyhow, so we didn't open those boxes until Christmas Day. And as soon as we opened the second box, we noticed that the last sub that came in, and that box was nowhere near as beat up, by the way, as the other one. It was not the same sub as the first one that showed up or the other 2 that's in his Tahoe right now. So we were like, oh no, this stinks. But we looked it over. It is an XV3. They're all XV3s. But it's got a different ring around it. Now, if you could tell, my picture here is not great. But those are rubber rings on both of these. That's another thing about this picture. This picture is misleading from what we received on that second sub. But these are both rubber rings. They've been using those rubber rings for several years now, but they just recently changed, apparently, to that hard metal ring that they've been putting on some of their subs for a couple of years. And so we had one sub with a rubber ring, the other sub with a metal ring, and we got to looking, and there was a couple of other differences too. The shininess of the dust cap on the new one had a little more shine to it. The old one was just flat, and the other one was sort of a semi-gloss. It wasn't real shiny. The color of the high temp glue on the coils were different. We had a flat black and a shiny black, and the ring, you can kind of tell right there that glue around the spider is like orange, and that new one had black glue around the spider. So my son didn't like that, of course. He wanted 4 subs that all look the same. So I reached out to GP. What was it? The day after Christmas, I believe it was. Yeah, on the 26th, and got a reply back from Tyler. I actually just replied to the same email where me and Tyler had already been emailing about the sub not showing up, and he said, "Oh yeah, I think they just made a change to the basket. Let me reach out to Sundown and see what they have to say." So I didn't hear back from Tyler the rest of that, let's see, that day or the next day or over the weekend. So on Sunday, I shot a little video of both of these subs out of the box and uploaded it to YouTube and sent Tyler the link. The video was private, but anybody with the link could see it. And so on Monday morning, he replied to me. I guess he saw that video either Sunday night or first thing Monday morning. Not real sure, but he got back with me and said that he reached out to me on the 27th, but he realized he sent it to the wrong person. And he sent me a screenshot of that reply that went to a different email address. And it looked like he was trying to address my situation there. And basically said that Sundown could send us a rubber ring to put on the new one so that it would look like the rest, and but they're on back order. And I said, man, I appreciate the reply, but unfortunately that's not going to work for us. There's other differences in these subs besides just that ring, and everything is not made exactly the same under that ring too. So if you just covered that ring up with a piece of plastic, it might look pretty similar and it might fool a lot of people, but it's not the same exact sub. We'll talk about that, or not the same exact ring. We'll talk about that in a minute. So I wound up calling their customer service, talked to a really nice guy named Felipe. Felipe was a cool guy that understood. Felipe even said, man, no, I get it. If I bought 2 subs, I would want them to look the same. And I'm pleading my case at this point too, through email and Felipe and in the video of, look guys, we didn't buy these at 2 different times. We didn't buy one and then a month later we bought the other one and they made a change in the meantime, and oh well, good luck with that. No, that ain't what happened. We bought them at the same time on the same order, and it's even a package put together by the company. I don't think anybody in this world would buy that and expect them to look the same. I mean, expect them to show up being different. So I don't really know why they don't call this a XV 3.5 or a XV 3.1, or because Sundown does that, by the way. I have a Sundown SA, the first Sundown product we ever bought. I still got it. It's an SA V 1.5 revision 3. I believe I'm saying that right. So they even do revisions. I don't know why they're not calling this new sub something a little bit different. I kind of wonder if they will get to that. And then they will surely have to address, yeah, they're not the same. It's a different revision or whatever. Really strange. But who would buy a pair of shoes and be cool with opening the box and they're not the same shoes? Or buying a couple of tires for their car and they're not this, they're close. They're real close. They're the same brand. They're the same almost everything, but they're not the same tires. Nobody expects to just, especially when you're spending this kind of money, right? That's all the more reason why they would love to handle this in a different way, and it's all the more reason why I want it to turn out exactly like I need it to turn out, is because I spent a bunch of money. So I know this video is getting a little bit long because I want to show you these two subs in person. So that's going to be part of the video as well. So sit tight with me just a little bit longer. But so next thing I know, the same day that I got the reply for first thing in the morning from Tyler, little later in the day, I talked to Felipe, and then later in this thing carried on all day yesterday. Now, it wasn't all day long, but it was spread out. But it went on from first thing in the morning, as soon as their customer service department was open, until in the afternoon. So I get a call from North Carolina, and I get it, and it's Brian with Sundown. Brian's a nice guy. I actually met Brian and Jacob earlier this year. I guess by the time you're seeing this video, it'll be early last year. But only about 8 or 9 months ago, I met Jacob and Brian at the Triple Fest in Muscle Shoals. Nice guys, and we chatted about kids and how far they were from home, and just general stuff, really, more than car audio. Anyhow, so I had already felt the pretty strong push from Tyler to just switch out the rings so they would look the same. Well, Brian also is offering a couple of different solutions, but I felt a pretty strong push to just switch out the rings, because guys, that's quick for them, it's easy for them, it's, you know what I mean? I don't know. I told Brian, I said, Brian, come on, man, you know that car audio is a lot about aesthetics for some people, and we just want these subs to be the same subs. And he's like, the soft parts are the same, I promise. They're all the same soft parts. And that's not exactly true. The colors of the glue and stuff like that, they're not exactly the same. Maybe recones fit for both, but they're not exactly the same. So he also told me, this is where I'm going to get to the ring part. He said, or I could send you metal. It's like an insert that goes in. So you would take this rubber off, you would put these metal inserts on there. Also, the ones with the metal ring has foam under the bottom, where the rubber ones don't have foam under the bottom. The rubber serves as the gasket. So I'd have to put foam underneath the bottom of the new sub, put the ring around it, and make them appear to be the same sub. He said, but the one difference is you cannot bolt the metal ring to the old style basket, and the rest of that basket appears to be exactly the same except for that flange. He says it won't bolt to it like the new ones do. The screws that you was to run all the way through the sub into your box would hold the metal ring and the basket together onto the box. So that right there is also proof that that flange is not exactly the same, as far as just being the difference between a rubber ring and a metal ring. Again, I want to show you these things here in a minute. And I said, man, no, neither one of those. I don't like the idea of doing either one of those. And he's like, well, if you want a sub, another sub, we can do that, and I'll pay to ship you one. But I'll need you to pay to ship that one back. And we can use, I can get you a good deal on the shipping, and it's $40. And I said, gosh, man, I said, listen, here's the deal, because I'm being polite. I said, here's the deal. Sure, will I make this go away for $40? Yes. But Brian, there's just something about it that just don't feel right. I don't feel like this should be costing me a single penny. My dog's over here scratching and making noises. But anyhow, I think you guys would probably understand. Y'all let me know, am I wrong here? Am I being petty about this? Or would y'all also want this to be right without having to spend any more money or go through any trouble or have to, I don't know, just carry this thing on and talk and fight and claw and try to make it happen. You know, I can remember a time where you wouldn't even have to get into all these little semantics about this and this and this and this and this. You'd call a company and they'd be like, oh, yes, sorry about that. Let's get you fixed up. What can we do here? Because ultimately I told them we would love to have 4 that are all the rubber, but what we definitely need, because I wasn't pushing hard to get a second rubber ring. I was always giving them the option. We just need them to match. We need 2 that are rubber or 2 that are metal, because even if we can't have all 4 in my son's Tahoe that look exactly the same, we for sure need 2 and 2. Who would want 3 that are the same and then a 4th one that's an oddball? You know, y'all let me know, but I think y'all would understand, honestly. But I told Brian, I said, no, I don't want the rings. I want a sub. Let's send you back the old rubber one. Well, the new old rubber one, and let's get 2 that have metal rings. And he's like, all right, what, you know, $40. And I said, okay, well, let me call my son. Let me talk it over with my son. And my son didn't really like any of those scenarios either. But ultimately, he said, yeah, that's the best scenario. So let's do that. And so that's what we did. And Brian also told me over the phone, he said, now look, when I was telling him I don't think this should cost me any money, he said, now if you can get GP to pay you back, I don't know if he said pay you back, maybe he just said pay for the shipping, but he said if you can get GP to pay for that $40 shipping, that's between you and GP. He says, but what I can do for you as Sundown, and Brian is one of their decision makers. He's one of Jacob's buddies and right hand guys, and he's a decision maker. But he said, what I can do for you from me to you with Sundown, and I do appreciate that Sundown was stepping up and doing something. It was going to cost them a little bit of money, right? It was going to cost them a little bit of hassle and $40 to ship me the one. And, you know, he is extending something there to try to make this right. He wants me to, I guess, kind of meet him in the middle. GP, I think they're glad to wash their hands of it, honestly. I guess that's why they turned Sundown on to me or whatever. I'm not real sure. But Sundown is at least trying to make it right, and they're willing to spend a little bit of money to make it right. Y'all let me know which of the 2 companies you think should be liable for this. I tend to think GP should be the one spending the money to make this right, but I don't know what the dynamic is between these 2 when a product sells. I don't know who pays for shipping typically. But y'all let me know, is this more of a GP responsibility or a Sundown responsibility? Probably some of those business agreements between the 2 would matter in that decision. But again, I'm not trying to slam either one of these companies. I think they're both cool companies that sell cool products. But would I like to see some better customer service? You damn right. You damn right. Anyhow, I'm a little passionate about this, but I'm trying to, because I can get, oh boy, I can get fired up. I've lost a little bit of sleep over this, by the way. But all right, so that's the way it turns out. Where we're at currently, I send GP a screenshot of my receipt where I paid for that $40 for shipping, and an email there that said, is GP going to pay me back for the shipping that I had to spend just to get my 2 subwoofers to be the same. I haven't gotten a reply yet. It's been several hours. It's actually the next day. I have not gotten a reply back from GP. I think they're probably tickled to death to have washed their hands of it and hopefully be done with it. But I don't really know. I don't know where they stand, honestly. Me and Tyler never spoke. But y'all let me know what you think about this. I'm going to show you these 2 subs right here in a minute. But let me know what you think. Also, if there ends up being more after this video, like they do something to make it better, or they do something to make it worse, like they pull the plug on the whole deal because they don't like my video, I don't know. But I'll post a follow-up video, and your first inclination that there is more to the story, I'll probably change the title of this one to say part one. Then you'll know there's a part two. But I'm gonna turn the camera off. I'm gonna get these subs set up on my little work table, and I want to show you these differences here. So sit tight for me just a second. All right, guys, so here they are. First off, check out the two boxes. This is what I meant when I said that when they came in, I was like, uh-oh. Them ain't even the same boxes. They're not even the same size boxes. They're shaped a little bit different. Also, this box has the assembled in the USA on it. This one does not. In fact, it says made in China. And our other two subs that we've already had for a couple of years, they have the made in the USA stickers on them. And those are different boxes as well. If you notice the way the writing is on that. You know what? Is it the same as this one? Maybe that's right. Maybe that's right. But this one has a sticker on it that says made in the USA. This one does not. But here's the rubber, which is like the two that we've already got. And here's that hard metal ring. And you see how that's bolted on there all the way around with these? It says Sundown on it. Here's the funny thing about it. We actually like the new design. We like the new design better. It's just that he already had two that was rubber. And again, what was most important to us was that we had two that matched and two that matched, and not three and then one oddball. Sure, it'd be cool to have all four of these, but what we definitely didn't want is one oddball. So what we're going to end up with is two of these. But y'all see that ring and stuff? That is clearly different. You stick that in your build, people will notice. No, we don't want to just throw a piece of rubber over here to make it look the same. It won't bolt on correctly per Brian. Check out the orange glue around the edge of the spider versus the black glue around the edge of the spider. The glue on the, I know this isn't a big deal because voice coils get swapped out all the time with different, Brian said they're getting them from two different companies. One that's made in America and one that's not. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell. Yeah, I think you could tell that that's flat black in there. It is the nice flat wound. Well, those are some killer coils. Then that's glossy black. That's not that big of a deal, honestly. But let me know what you think. Who would make a purchase based off of that picture and then get these two different subs and be cool with it? For real, if your answer is, yeah, I'd be cool with that, it don't matter to me, drop a comment. Let me know that. Some people probably would be okay with it. And but I have a feeling the majority would not. So that's it. I do want to go back over to the bench and talk to you for just a couple more minutes about something else. But let me know what you think about this. Yeah, and if this ends up saying part one, then you'll know something else happened, and I will make a video about that. But sit tight for me for just another minute. I want to talk to you about something else. All right, so I did something else yesterday too, just for the heck of it. I don't want to get anybody in trouble here, but I called Down for Sound yesterday, and I just asked them if I would have received two subs like this yesterday, would you guys have given me any pushback about swapping them out or making them the same, or asking me to pay shipping on one of those subs? And the girl, her name was Jessica, and it was not Jessica Price, but she was nice, and she said, I can't talk about, another company or whatever. And I was like, no, I fully respect that. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm just saying in the future, because me and my son, we spend a lot of money on car audio, and we almost bought these 2 subs from you guys. If y'all would have had a sale, we would have bought them from y'all, and we buy most of our stuff from you guys anyway. I said, but if I would have gotten 2 different subs like this from y'all, and I wanted them to look exactly the same, would y'all have asked me to pay anything to make that right, including shipping? And the words were said to me very strongly, absolutely not. And I said, okay, that's what I thought. So, guys, just make good decisions out there. And we live in a day where sometimes you can get in these weird situations, even when you don't expect to. Meaning, if you buy 2 things at the same time from the same company, nobody expects to have to ask the question, hey, are they really going to show up looking the same? And one thing I do appreciate about Brian, I asked him the question, hey, if we do this swap and I get the new one, is it going to look just like this other new one? And he wanted to go to the back and double check and call me back, and he did. And I appreciate for him that he wanted to go back there and look at them or see what they had in stock and be able to give me a pretty solid answer on that. Here's the last thing I want to say, guys. Brian and Tyler, neither one realize or care that they're actually dealing with somebody else that's in the industry in a very small way. I'm the tiniest little guppy in the great big old ocean of car audio. But I never brought it up. I didn't mention it. I didn't throw around my YouTube channel or Welsh Audio or none of that. But the truth is, I'm in the business as well. I even have 2 amplifiers with the same name on them. I'm just telling you, if I offered, or even if somebody bought 2 of the old style WA2Ks at the same time, and something happened, because trust me, I understand mistakes and accidents, and I don't think any of this was on purpose. I think it was a deal where they had some left over and they ran out, and then they had the new ones to make up the difference. I get it. I don't think anybody did this stuff on purpose, but how you handle it on the customer service side of things makes all the difference in the world. But what I'm getting at is, if somebody would have bought 2 of these at the same time and they would have accidentally received 1 of each, I would have made that right without my customer paying a single penny, not 1 penny, even if it meant that I made no money off of that deal or even lost money on that deal. Because sometimes in business, that's just the way it is. Honestly, it's just the way it is. But I would never do that. And especially if I was offering a package where I'm saying, hey, get 2 WA2Ks, Black Friday deal, blah, blah, blah. I did have a Black Friday deal, by the way, and thank you to everybody that took advantage of that. I sold more amps that week than I had any other week during the year. So thank y'all for that. But I'm just saying, I'm also a guy that's in the business, and I know how I would have handled this situation on my end of things, customer service wise, and my customer would not have paid a single penny for shipping or anything in this situation. So guys, let me know what you think about all this. I'm not trying to stir up drama, excuse me, and be dramatic and all that, but it's just an experience that I had myself recently, and I just felt like sharing it with you guys and just letting y'all know and getting your feedback. So let me know what you think about this whole deal. Thank y'all so much for the support. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. We got some cool stuff coming up, and we're expecting a great 2025. So stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. All right, guys, I had to turn the camera back on and circle back to one more point. There's Cody. What a cozy situation, right? We got our cat a heating pad he gets to sit on out here in the wintertime. But y'all kind of saw me realize something on camera that I did not even know. I didn't even realize yesterday or any of these communications with GP Audio or Sundown until actually this morning, and kind of on camera, that if we kept what they sent us, we were going to wind up with 3 subwoofers that were assembled in America. They put these together at Sundown. All of their, well, they're more high-end subs. They assemble at Sundown, and then their cheaper stuff, the SAs and the E's and the whatever, those are made in China. I thought that the X's were always assembled in America. I did not know that some of their X's were made in China. While I was on the phone with Brian yesterday, and we were talking about the coils and the color of the glue on the Spider and the finish. Did I even talk about that a while ago? This dust cap is a little bit shinier than that dust cap. It's not much, but I think you can see in the video that there is a little bit of a difference. But looking at the surrounds, but I did not realize, he said it. He said that some of their X's are made in China and some of them are the assembled in America is the way it is. And y'all have seen in their videos, in their subwoofer assembly rooms where they've got all the baskets and cones and spiders, and pretty cool. They're putting them all together on the Lazy Susans and all that. But another reason why I'm extra glad we're swapping this out, we're swapping this one out, is because we were going to wind up in a situation where 4 of the subs in my son's Tahoe, 3 of them were going to be American subs. 1 of them was going to be a China sub. But that's also what's extra weird about GP putting together a package. And again, I know they didn't do this on purpose, but because of the way it ended up, it was going to be something that happened. But they've put together a package where a guy was going to receive 2 different subs that were not even made at the same place. I had to circle back and drive home that fact just a little bit more than what you saw me kind of realizing on camera a while ago. See where that one says made in China, assembled in America. And the 2 that we bought a couple of years ago, I showed y'all that a while ago. They got the, also, when they're like that, when they assemble them in America, they also wind up with that. Where on this one that says made in China on the box does not say assembled in America. Anyhow, I've got my shipping label printed out that I paid for, and I've got to box this one back up here in a few minutes and take it to a FedEx location to drop it off. But guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about all this. Stay tuned for more. All right, one last thing and then I'll shut up, I promise. I just got to feeling bad because I talked about how this box was in kind of bad shape, like it had been beat up quite a bit, but then I didn't ever show it. And when you saw the 2 boxes sitting back there standing upright, it looked fine. But keep in mind, this is the one that arrived in like 3 days. This is the one that took 2.5 weeks. But this is how it got here. Some of these corners are like really, like they've been. Well, I mean, we're through, you know, two or three layers there. I can't help but wonder if this China sub was like a return or something. It almost looks like that had to have made more than 1 trip somewhere. I don't know. But this is the one that took forever, because I think maybe it came from Sundown. Maybe this one came from GP. I don't know, but this box looks nice. So, I don't know. Just wanted to show y'all that in case anybody was wondering, well, what was that he was talking about the box being beat up? Well, there it is. It's not, may not be as bad as what you thought, but you can see there that it definitely is. It took more abuse than the other one. Okay, that's it. I'm out.